Hi everyone and welcome again to another video clip from Teacher Joseph. Today I'm going to be making Brazilian chicken. Now I'm British, so I don't quite know how Brazilian chicken differs from any other kind of chicken. But anyway, the recipe looks delicious, so we're going to be doing that now. Now, let me just talk you through what we're going to be using first of all. So, of course, we have chicken, and I'm going to be seasoning that to get us started. So, to do that, I'm just going to pat it dry a little bit because it's still a bit wet there. And this is really important if you're working with chicken. The decision whether you wash it or not is really up to you. I know that some people say that you should, some people say that you shouldn't. It's entirely up to you, I think. Personally speaking, I always wash the chicken. You never know where it's been. But I think they say that you shouldn't really, don't they? So that's the very first thing, is to make sure that the chicken is dry and ready to be used. Now, this is actually very, very simple. Okay, we're going to be putting all of the dry ingredients into a mixing bowl. Okay, we're going to coat the chicken, and the butter, I'm using a butter which is called, I can't believe it's not butter, because this is fake butter. Okay, it's not really butter. I'll be using that. It goes at the end over the chicken. Okay, so let's begin. Now, what we're going to be using, okay, just so you know, is we're going to be using parsley, paprika, garlic, oregano, pepper, salt, olive oil. So these things are obviously very, very important. So we're going to add all the ingredients together to make a marinade. And then when the chicken's actually getting cooked, we'll add some butter to the top. But we first of all have to make the marinade. The chicken has to go in it, and then it has to be left for a few hours. But we'll skip past that part, as you'll see in a minute. The other things that you'll need, sugar. Okay, so you want to make it quite sweet. So sugar, and also just a little drop of water. Now we add everything in, okay, except the butter, to make the marinade. Now, how much of these things we use really depends, and I'll tell you why. One thing is because some of these things are quite spicy, like the garlic, for example. And also, this recipe is asking for onion powder. Now, I don't have onion powder, I have onion granules. So to compensate, I have to use twice as much as the recipe says, because I don't have onion powder. Not something I use. Okay, so we're going to begin. Now, I'm going to be quite generous with these ingredients because I like things strong. Okay, so let's begin then. So we're going to add, first of all, it's asking for 2 tablespoons of onion powder. So I'm actually going to add 4. Okay, now I have a very big tablespoon here, so I need to be careful with exactly how much I add in. So let me just get the correct spoon. Here we are. Okay, so see if I can get this out. 1 minute. Right. Hopefully you can see me there. Let me just move this back. So this is the onion granules that I'm using in place of onion powder. Now, I'm using a lot of this because I don't have onion powder, and also because I like things strong. Okay, there's only 2 breasts of chicken here. The recipe also is designed for a whole chicken. Okay, so you don't actually need so much, all right? But I want it to be quite nice and strong, and if I have too much, I might use the extra chicken as well, just to make it, okay? So that's the 2 tablespoons of onion powder. I use the onion granules. Next is 1 tablespoon of garlic powder. Powdered garlic is a wonderful thing, okay? Now notice my spoon is a little bit bigger than a usual tablespoon, okay? But I'm going to use it anyway because always delicious. And it's asking here for 1 tablespoon of garlic powder. That's fine. I think that would be more than enough, to be honest. And then it says 1.5 tablespoons of salt. Well, I do know that the people who eat this, they're going to love the salt on there. So I think that's enough to get us started. Just a little bit more. You don't want to make it too salty, of course. And then next you have 1/2 teaspoon of ground, let's see, ground pepper. Yeah. Okay, well, the pepper is here, ground black pepper. Just add a little drop in. Now, not too much, just a little drop, okay? So there we are. That's a little drop of pepper there as well, all right? 1 teaspoon of ground paprika. So I have that here, ground paprika. Teaspoon of this. So let me just add that in. You don't need to be exact with these ingredients, but you want to get as close to them as you can. Now, I like paprika, so a little bit extra there. Okay, so where are we? Yes, 2 teaspoons of dried oregano. Put the oregano here. Now, you know oregano always gives a lovely taste, but if you use too much of it, it can dominate your food. So there's 1 and 2. Right, that's the oregano. And now it says 1/2 tablespoon of sugar. Now, it's up to you how you manage this. I'm sure you can find a sugar substitute, but me personally, I'm going to be adding the sugar. Let me just there we are. Now, as you know, I don't actually eat this stuff because I'm usually vegetarian. Okay, so that's the sugar. And then we want a tablespoon of olive oil. I use extra virgin. And if you're diabetic, by the way, absolutely great to have as a drink in the morning. Not too much of it, of course. So there we are. And it says 1 lime juiced. Okay, so we're going to juice the lime. So we've used all of these. Now, I have one of these juicers. This is one of these things that you put the thing on the top and you squeeze it. Someone gave that to me for Christmas a few years ago. Honestly, they said, "Oh, I know you love to cook. You love this juicer." I said, "Yeah, well, I also like to teach people online, but you're not buying me a computer, are you?" So they meant well anyway. I mean, it wasn't a bad thing. It was a nice gesture. So here we are. Let me just get the juice out of this. Now, this very much juice came out of that, that's for sure. So it says juice of 1 lime. For me personally, and I don't know about you, I can't tell the difference between lemon and lime. For me, it tastes the same. I know that'll upset many people, but for me, it's the same. So rather than waste my time doing this, and trying to get what looks like blood out of a stone, I'm going to add just a little bit of prepared lemon juice. Okay, not too much, but a little bit. So I'll go for a teaspoon of that. And I will also add the juice from this. And there we are. Now, that's the marinade ready for the chicken. So we need to mix this up, okay? Now let me just see how that tastes. Yeah, that's lovely actually. I really like that. A little bit of a lemony taste, but that's the way I like it. Okay, so that's now ready for the chicken to go inside this. Now, I haven't seasoned the chicken yet. To season the chicken, what I usually use is I have this, which is a chicken seasoning thing. I also have this, Ras El Hanout, which is delicious. Even just a little drop of that can really make recipes very strong. And I also have a special chicken seasoning, which is here. But you have to be careful with this one because it's a little bit spicy. Yeah, it's a little bit strong on that, so you have to be careful. So today, I'm just going to use this, okay? So let me just show you. Again, it is very salty, be careful, but if you like it that way, great. Okay, you can really rub this in, depending on what you like, of course. It's not for everyone. Right, now that chicken is ready to be placed with the marinade that we've just made. By the way, this is what it looks like. It looks a bit dry, doesn't it? But it's okay. Nothing wrong with that. So we're just going to try to mix this on with the chicken. There we are. Make sure you don't miss any of this. It really is very nice. I just tried it again there. It might be easier to put a bit more oil in it, maybe. That might make it better. But to be honest with you, remember we'll be adding butter to get it to cook. So, yeah. Now this is going to be marinated for a few hours before we actually cook it. Of course, I'll do the high-speed thing, so you can see in a few minutes what that's going to look like. I'm just trying it. I mean, it tastes very unusual, but it is delicious. Okay. And here's the next one. Right, remember to make sure that this is all covered. Okay, we'll be leaving it for a few hours anyway. Plenty of marinade left there, so I'm tempted to do the other bit of chicken as well, because as I mentioned to you, I have one more piece, and I haven't seasoned that or patted it dry, so let me just do that now. There we are, so I'll just season this chicken quickly. And then use more of this marinade. So it looks delicious. It really does, you know. Probably, I think it needs a little bit more olive oil to make this marinade more kind of watery. It would be easier to work with, I think. So let's make sure that you've got it covered here. Okay. That looks great, doesn't it? Right, and there we have it. So that's pretty much ready. Okay, so as I told you, this goes into the cupboard, or I should say into the fridge rather. It gets covered, but it's placed in the fridge for up to 4 hours, and then we cook it. Okay, so I'm going to fast forward now. I'm going to put this in the fridge, and then I'll be back in a minute when I'm taking it out of the fridge. Hi everyone, right, I'm back. So, as you know, we've made this chicken. It's been in the fridge for 4 hours now. So next, we need to cook it. Now, I've just tried a little bit of the marinade, although for us it was just powder because it was really dry. The chicken does taste really, really salty. Now, this isn't a huge problem because I do know that we like it salty, okay? But be careful. It may not have been a good idea to use so much seasoning in the first place. But if it is too salty, it is what it is. It's not that bad. I mean, I can certainly eat it, or the people it's intended for will eat it. Maybe with some yogurt will calm it down, for example, something like that. But anyway, just to warn you, it turned out just a little bit salty. But remember, this is going to be cooked in butter, okay? So that hopefully will calm it down as well. So I'm using one of these trays, which looks like it's plastic, but it's actually heat proof. It's really, really good, and it's perfect for going into the oven. So I'm just going to lay the chicken in this. I've got 3 bits here. There we are. And I'm going to cover these in butter. Okay, so let me just cover these in butter. And then what's going to happen is this is going to go in the oven. Now I'm going to use my Ninja. Okay, so it says here it has to go in the oven. So I'm going to put my Ninja onto bake mode and make it that way. It says here that you should put the chicken in a roasting pan and tie the legs together if it's a whole one. But we've only got bits, so we won't be doing that. And it says here roast for about 15 to 30 minutes. Well, I think maybe 20, 25 minutes is enough for us. And then you let it rest for 20 minutes after that. Well, that's fine. It won't be getting eaten until later anyway. So, yeah, so it says here season it again, but I'm really not going to do that because it has too much salt as it is. And it's saying add the butter and more salt and pepper. So again, I would skip that part. It says 1 tablespoon of butter on the top. So I'm just going to see if I can add this here. I'll just try to evenly cover it a little bit, I think. Yeah, it doesn't tell me to rub it in or anything. It just tells me to put it on top, okay? So presumably the butter will find its way when it's melting to the other bits. I don't know how it does it, but there we are. Okay, so that's that. Now, I always use a lot of this, okay, purely because I like really kind of fatty things. But since I won't be eating this, I'm not sure exactly what it's going to be like. There we are. Right, so the next step is to put this into my foodie. Now, let me just show you that. I'm just going to see if I can lift this up. 1 second. Move some of these things out the way. Yeah, let me just lift this. Okay, so here we are. You can see my Ninja there. Okay, so the chicken is going to go in the Ninja. Just try and move it over without dropping the thing because it's a bit unsteady. Here we are. I'll just put this in here. Right. And I'm going to close this. And that's going to get cooked for roughly 20 minutes on a low-ish temperature, not too low. We'll set it to bake. It's at 190 temperature. It's fine. Time, we're going to set that for, let's say, 23 minutes, okay? And then we can have a look at it later. Okay, so I'm going to fast forward in time now. So just 1 minute, please. Hello again, everyone. Right, the chicken is done. Now, it took longer than expected. I put it in at 190 for 22 minutes. I had to stop it after around 20 minutes, put the temperature up and turn the chicken because it wasn't really cooking so good. So in total, it took around 30 minutes, turning it halfway through with an increased temperature up to 205. So let me just present it to you. Here it is, the chicken. Now, it looks authentic enough, doesn't it? So we're just going to try it. I'll just bring this a little bit closer so you can see. Okay, this is the chicken. Right, I'm just going to put it on the plate. And you'll see that it really is nice. It's lovely. It looks a bit like Kentucky Fried Chicken, doesn't it? Beautiful, beautiful. Very well coated there. An extra 5 minutes would have given it a nice burnt look, if you like that kind of thing. Very nice, very nice. It's a little bit pink in the inside. I mean, not too much, but it's not overcooked, is what I mean to say. And I'm just going to try this little piece to see what it's like. Yeah, it's delicious. I mean, really, very authentic. It does taste actually very much like kind of KFC chicken, but it's not so milky as that would be. So that's it. That's the chicken. Okay, so don't forget to turn it halfway through. I'll put all the recipe and the notes in the box here on YouTube. So enjoy Brazilian chicken. If it's too salty, have it with some yogurt, maybe. I still think it's just a little bit salty, which is why it tastes like a fast food chicken. But either way, I mean, it's delicious anyway. So, okay, see you. Bye.